All right, this is to Mr. Perilous. What up, Perilous? Siege. Let me get in a costume. I put my mask on, but I threw up all over it, and then performed what's commonly known as a Woodsman 180 on top of that. If you don't know what a Woodsman 180 is, do not Google that. Don't Google images of pulling a Woodsman 180. Siege. All right. I'm glad I brought that up. Where's my malt? Oh, my house is a little bit, somewhere around 70 square feet, and I lose stuff all the time. Let's drink this down. Malt liquor. Oh. Well, Siege, you told a story about an orange. So I'll tell you my own orange story. Let's have some snacks. Oh God, I'm not informed. Sea salt, black pepper, and sea salt chips. I think this is gonna have to be a swig, a sipping swig video. I'm afraid it is. I'm sorry. Alright, here's the deal. For those of you that haven't watched Siege's video, he talked about some guy asking for Siege's orange. Siege's like, sure, man, here you go. You know, I want to be a cool guy. Have my orange. And then the guy throws that orange at somebody else. Uses the food like a weapon. That's such bullshit. You know what that reminds me of? I used to work with this guy, and we worked something like 3 in the morning to like 10 in the morning or something. And this guy used to mess with me every day. Every day would be a new way to make my job harder for fun. He'd actually work harder to make sure that my day was miserable. And one day I just told him, man, I'm like, hey, this job's miserable enough. It has one of the highest turnovers that I've ever encountered ever in my career of working anywhere. And you're behaving in a way that puts you up in the top 3 of the worst coworkers I've ever had. You gotta just leave me alone. Don't try to make my life miserable. You know, like, I don't know if you've seen any movies, but like sometimes when you make someone else's life miserable in a movie, something really bad happens to that person. I'm just saying it happens in movies. Malt liquor. And that got me about a 3-day reprieve. And then he came up to me on the 4th day and said, I shouldn't have to change who I am. In his kind of mouth-breathing, that was actually a really long sentence for him, kind of way. And this proceeded to try to make my job miserable again. I said, fuck it. I'm out of here. That's like the first job I finished my shift, but I walked off the job. Told my supervisor, I'm like, you have my right address, right? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, good, send me my check. The idea that other people want to take the time out of their lives to make other people miserable, it's like a disease. It's like they've caught something. They've caught misery. And they want everybody to have misery. Because then, misery loves company. Like, you know, at least I'm not the only one suffering. They're like, I resent everybody else not experiencing the same type of life I am. So I'm going to change that. Not improve their own life. Because that's hard. It takes hard work. It's easy to mess up somebody else's life. Sons of bitches. Malt liquor. The reason I'm doing a sip swill video with this is I wasn't feeling well for a while, so I dialed back on anything that might interfere with that. Alcohol, smoking my pipe, and staying out in the cold, getting tired. And now I'm feeling a little bit better, but I gotta ease back into things. All right. Well, anyway, I'm gonna sum this up. My particular orange story. It isn't any in particular story, other than the fact that, like, I wish in my life that at any point in time I got involved with one of these orange chuckers, one of these people that's like, I'm upset and I'm going to pass that on. Oh, that reminds me of a scene, a part of the book of The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. It's that this human beings raised on Mars by Martians. Martians give him back, like the second we get back there again, they're like, hey, you left a baby. The story makes it make sense, but so this human being's trying to learn all about what it's like to be a human being, and he doesn't understand humor. And then one day he goes to the zoo, and there's 3 monkeys in a cage, and the people who feed them throw in this bundle of bananas. And the medium-sized monkey walks over and helps himself to a banana. I mean, there's a whole bunch, tons of bananas. The big monkey walks over, hits that medium-sized monkey, takes that banana away from him, grabs a hold of all the bananas, and pulls it off to his corner, and just sits there guarding it while he eats that banana. The medium-sized monkey thinks about it for a little bit, goes over to the little monkey, hits that little monkey. And the human alien, the human raised by Martians, starts laughing. And someone's like, why are you laughing? And he's like, I understand your humor now. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, the reason why you laugh at these terrible jokes is because the alternative is to cry. Yeah, malt liquor. So I wish that I would have spent my whole life identifying the oranges, the orange throwers, and avoiding them at all costs. Because actually, when I started thinking about this story, like, you know, I wish I would have walked off. I wish I would have left the dinner table. I wish I would have told that guy, hey, you know what? Get the hell out of my house. All these different times where I wish I would have just said, hey, you know what? Screw me. No, screw you. And get out of my house. It all kind of boils down to the same thing. People that try to make other people miserable. People try to make their friends miserable. People try to make their acquaintance miserable. Their schoolmates, their workmates. People in traffic. We're all sharing the same goal to get from point A to point B. Rugby. But some people are out there to try to kind of interfere with traffic. What's the answer? Siege Perilous, you might ask me? You might say, Earl, what's the answer? I'll tell you what it is, man. Do everything in your life directed towards one goal. Everything else, you have to shelve for the moment, revisit it. But the goal should be to get yourself in a point of your life where you have security. For instance, in my mind, it's my own house. Once I have my own house, I feel like it might just be like a placebo, but I feel like it would be like I have worked my whole life for this one goal, and having attained that goal, I am no longer prepared to put up with any bullshit. I've worked too hard for too long to get what I want. Yeah, man. And actually, at one point in time, I did have somebody over at my house, and I actually had a bunch of different people over at my house throughout my life, and I wish that I would have kicked them out. One guy called me a racist. And I'm like, dude, you got hired on at a company because I hired you and someone else fired you. How am I a racist? And he's like, he's drinking my beer. He's like, well, you didn't do anything to stop it. Son of a bitch. That guy just threw an orange at me. Because he knew that I liked him, and he knew I worked hard to make sure that things worked well for him. And then when he got shafted through his own actions and inactions, he wanted to give me a hard time so that I would go to bat for him. It's kind of like, dude, work for me. You know, like, go work for yourself and get out of my house. All right, well, I've reached the top of the label. I'll be saving the rest of this malt liquor to slowly enjoy while I watch a couple movies I got in the library. Siege, are you my buddy on Facebook? I don't know if we're Facebook buddies. Hit me up on Facebook, Siege. What else? Falstaff came back. That's cool. And came up and did a video. Got pressured into it. That's how we work. The malt liquor crew, we apply pressure. Oh, and I'll just end it with one. I know I've done this shout out. Mr. Met40. I was looking at his likes, which I think that's a neat thing that we could do now. Like, it's kind of like stepping a little bit behind the scenes, and found tons of new people I haven't met before. So you always got to explore. Always got to explore. Can't take things for granted. Oh, you know what? Actually, I was showing you my water, actually, because I just finished this 5 gallons of water today, and I noticed Akila's water bowl was low, and I have to make coffee tomorrow morning. But instead, I filled up Akila's water bowl, and it wasn't enough, so I went out to the van and found my water bottle from work, and then filled the rest of his bowl up, because, like, I could go out into Starbucks and get coffee, but my dog's depending on me for water, and I don't know. I don't regret that. I don't regret sacrificing my water, because I'll just drink malt liquor tonight.